Welcome back to the World According to Briggs and a video about retiring or just moving to Europe. Are you tired of overpriced healthcare, soul-crushing traffic, and spending your golden years dodging political conversations with the wackadoodle next door that watches far too much cable news? Well, pack your bags, because there are towns in Europe that are practically begging you to retire there. Seriously, some of these places have affordable visas, top-tier healthcare, and costs so low you'll think it's a bait-and-switch type situation. In today's video, we're counting down 10 European towns that are perfect for American retirees. These aren't the overhyped tourist traps. These are the hidden gems where your social security check might actually get you more than rent, regret, and a 12-pack of Ensure. From seaside villages to storybook mountain towns, these are places that offer charm, culture, and peace of mind. Give you the heads up right now, a lot of them have really hard names to pronounce, so cut me a little slack on this one. Stick around for the end, because the bloopers are going to be amazing, I'm sure. Got it? Get it? Good. Let's take a look. Number 10, Bled, Slovenia. Yes, Bled. I looked it up. That's how you pronounce it. Retiring on Lake Bled isn't just about soaking up the postcard views. It's about finding a slower, saner pace of life. The town itself has a small, walkable center with cafes that serve strong coffee and fresh pastries. You'll start planning your mornings around this, I promise. Farmers markets pop up with local honey, cheese, and produce that hasn't been shipped for 3 weeks in a container. And the pace here, think less hustle and more sit by the lake and watch swans type energy. There's just enough tourism to keep the place lively, especially in the summer, but not so much that you feel like you're living in a souvenir shop. The community here is tight-knit, but still welcoming. English is widely spoken, especially around the younger crowd and in healthcare, which makes integration easier than you might expect. Many retirees find themselves pleasantly surprised at how easy it is to get involved in the community here, whether it's joining a hiking group, attending a lakeside concert, or even taking up paddleboarding in their 70s. Yes, people still paddleboard in their 70s. It's really not that hard. I'm not near 70 yet, got about a decade and a half to go, but it's pretty easy to pick up. It's enjoyable. The locals here are proud of the town, but not in a snotty type of way. They actually want you to enjoy it as well, as long as you don't try and turn it into a Vegas on the water situation. They kind of like their medieval and, I don't know about medieval, but they like their old architecture and their slow pace of life. They don't want a giant resort that has, slot machines and gambling and stuff like that. They just want Bled to be how it is. And if you're someone who likes a variety in your scenery and seasons, Bled delivers. You get warm summers with boat rides and lake swims, golden autumns straight out of a travel magazine, snowy winters ideal for cozying up with a glass of wine and a fireplace, and flower-filled springs that'll make you wonder if you're in a European perfume ad. The air here is cleaner than just about any place in the United States. The food tastes better, and the stress you used to wear like a hoodie every day kind of fades. Retiring at Lake Bled isn't just an escape. It's definitely an upgrade. Now, if you're going to move there, you're probably going to want to rent. Buying homes sometimes for retirees can be difficult, or buying homes in general in other countries. But if you want to rent something in city center, a one-bedroom will go for $675 American. Outside the city, you're looking at closer to $550. Now, we're not doing this video in any particular order because there's too many variables, but we're just kind of showing them to you. Anyway, why this place is great. Fairy tale lake with swans and castles. Yes, it's real. Visa, long-term stay visas require financial proof and health insurance. Healthcare is universal and cheap. Doctors often speak English. So those are the bonuses of moving there. Number 9, Český Krumlov, Czech Republic. Now, this first one I probably butchered. I apologize. But Český Krumlov isn't just a pretty face. It's got substance to match the scenery. The entire town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and walking through it feels like time traveling with a really good bakery on every corner. That's something about Europe. They always got the best bakeries. Locals still live in century-old homes, and instead of strip malls and loud billboards, you get cobblestone alleys, flower boxes, and the occasional medieval reenactment. Yes, seriously. They dress up in, medieval stuff and they go to town here. The vibe here is less daily grind and more ye old coffee shop and stroll. There's a deep sense of community, and expats often say they feel like part of a postcard when they live here, and not in a cheesy way. Daily life moves at a relaxed, almost suspiciously peaceful way. You'll find workshops instead of chain stores, and your errands might include buying fresh cheese from a farmer's cart or watching someone forge iron like it's 1450. Don't expect a lot of hustle, and definitely don't expect a lot of people multitasking with 5 devices while walking. It's slow living, and that's the entire point of moving here. For retirees, it's ideal. Safe, scenic, and walkable. Enough to ditch your car, walkable, without giving up modern amenities like fiber optic internet and a solid healthcare. They have good healthcare here. Most places in Europe do. Let's talk costs. You could rent a charming 1-bedroom apartment in the historic center for what it would cost to park your car in London for a week. Groceries are cheap, utilities are reasonable, and you can afford to eat out regularly without sweating over the bill. The Czech pensioner lifestyle isn't about excess, it's about balance. Sip your beer, take your time, enjoy the view, and let the castle bells tell you what time it is, not your cell phone. Now, rent here for 1 bedroom in city center is about $875 American dollars. Outside the city, you can get them for about $650, and these are decent ones. These aren't shacks anyplace. What's great, cobblestone streets and castles without the Prague prices. Visa, apply for a long stay residence as a retiree or a freelancer. It's fairly easy. Healthcare, the public system is excellent and very cheap. Residency is required to get it for free, basically. Number 8, Sitges, Spain. Now, I hope I didn't butcher that one, but I gave it a shot. Just 30 minutes south of Barcelona, Sitges is where laid-back beach lifestyle crashes headfirst into the bohemian charm, and the result is something delightfully quirky, I guess you could say. This seaside town is all palm-lined promenade, whitewashed homes, and a Mediterranean breeze that makes you forget what stress feels like. Now, doing some reading about this place, it's proudly LGBT plus friendly, so keep that in mind. It's deeply artistic and just eccentric enough to make your inner free spirit feel seen. And unlike Barcelona, where you're likely to trip over a dozen tourists before breakfast, Sitges still feels human-sized. Retirees, creatives, and expats stroll the same cobblestone streets as the locals, often while sipping wine at noon like it's a vitamin supplement. Living in Sitges means your calendar is suddenly full with festivals, because the town never met a celebration it didn't like. From film festivals to flower parades and to the famously wild carnival, there's always something happening here. Seafood is fresh, the sunsets are ridiculous, and the pace of life practically begs you to slow down. The town here is incredibly walkable with frequent trains to Barcelona. You can enjoy big city perks without the big city headaches. Need a cardiologist, cutting-edge dentist, or just a really good proctologist? Spain's top-tier public and private healthcare system have everything you need, and likely at a fraction of what you'd pay in the United States. Yeah, it's actually a fraction. On average, most things in Spain, medical-wise, compared to the United States, is less than 50%. So, I've seen things where it's 39 to 45% less than the US. So that's good. For retirees, Sitges is more than just a pretty place to park your flip-flops. With Spain's non-lucrative visa, making the move is relatively smooth, as long as you could prove that you're not trying to take a local job and you could support yourself. What you get in return is a life that feels like a permanent vacation, I guess you could say, which we all need. Want to spend your mornings swimming and your afternoons painting, maybe even reading in a cafe? You could do that here, and then follow it up with your evening dancing under the fairy lights to live music. That's just Tuesday. Sitges offers not just an escape, but a full-on lifestyle change. Now, the cost of living and everything here is pretty cheap, but let's talk about rent. A 1-bedroom at the city will cost you about $880. Outside the city, 1 bedroom about $720. Why is this great? Sunny, progressive, and close to Barcelona without the chaos. Now, their visa thing, Spain has a non-lucrative visa. Again, makes it pretty easy. Healthcare, it's among Europe's best. Fast, cheap, and highly rated. Everything you need. Number 7, Tallinn, Estonia. Estonia might not be on everyone's retirement list, but maybe it should, especially if you're looking for a place where the 13th century and the 21st century live in perfect harmony. Tallinn, the capital, is a postcard of medieval Europe with a tech startup brain. The old town feels like something out of a fairy tale, winding cobblestone streets, towering stone walls, and buildings that haven't changed in centuries. But blink and you're in modern Tallinn, where everything from voting to prescriptions is handled online and the public Wi-Fi feels faster than most people's home internet. For retirees, Tallinn offers an attractive mix of affordability and convenience. Rent and groceries wouldn't eat through your savings like it might in Western Europe, and you'll find a solid expat community that enjoys the slower pace that this town offers. While winters are definitely chilly and long, Tallinn knows how to do winters right. Think candlelit cafes, Christmas markets straight out of a Hallmark movie, and snowy landscapes that make walking to the store feel like a scenic hike. Summers, on the other hand, are mild and gorgeous with long daylight hours, perfect for exploring Estonia's forests and beaches. Healthcare in Estonia is another big win. The system is public, efficient, and highly digital. Appointments, prescriptions, and records are all online. Once you've established residency, you get access to the system for a very modest cost. Estonia's digital nomad visa also opens the door for semi-retirees who still dabble in remote work. This makes it ideal for people who aren't ready to hang up the laptop completely yet. So if you're into charming architecture, modern tech, and the idea of sipping coffee in a century-old building with fiber optic internet, Tallinn might just be your perfect retirement glitch in the Matrix. Now, if you move here and you want to rent a one-bedroom apartment, you're looking at $700. That's in city center. Outside the city, it's closer to $500. That's incredible. Why it's great? Tech-savvy, clean, safe, and the winters look like Narnia. Visas, Estonia offers a digital nomad visa, and they offer long-term stays for retirees. The healthcare, excellent public system, residency, get you in. Number 6, Ghent, Belgium. Imagine if a medieval town and a college campus had a baby. Welcome to Ghent. Located in the Flemish region of Belgium, this city is where Gothic spires meet bike lanes and where cobblestone alleys are just as likely to lead to a 12th century castle as they are a pop-up food truck festival. Ghent blends old world charm with youthful energy, thanks to its bustling university presence and a thriving cultural scene. Big on culture here. Picture canals winding through town, towering cathedrals, and the occasional art installation that looks like it wandered off a museum floor. There's something delightfully quirky about Ghent, like it knows it's beautiful but doesn't take itself too seriously. It's a very beautiful city. I think it's one of the more beautiful cities on this list. For retirees, Ghent offers something you won't find in many places. A peaceful, scenic city that doesn't feel like it's been put in a time capsule. The public transportation is modern, the healthcare system is excellent and affordable, and the city is extremely walkable. Living here feels both connected and relaxed. You're just a train ride away from Paris, Amsterdam, or London. Yet there's no rush to leave. Belgian healthcare is among the best in Europe with generous reimbursement policies, English-speaking professionals who make the transition easy for expats, and it's not hard to imagine spending your days exploring museums, sipping ales, or enjoying the canal views on a cozy terrace or something like that. This is what you're looking for from Europe, just cheaper. And then there's the vibe. Ghent is active without being loud, historic without being stuck in the past. The locals are friendly, most people speak English fluently, and there's always something going on, from jazz nights and medieval reenactments to avant-garde art fairs. Of course, you got flea markets too. You can live a car-free lifestyle, eat locally sourced food, and still indulge in all the chocolate and beer your doctor will allow. Retiring in Ghent is like living in a Renaissance painting with Wi-Fi, and they want you to move there. They make it pretty easy. The rent here, one bedroom in city center is about $907. Outside the city, you get down to about $820. Not much of a difference, but it's a difference. Why this place is great. It's a hidden gem that mixes culture, food. Belgium has long stay retirement visas with income proof required. You got to show that you're not going to be sucking off their system. Healthcare, world class. Public insurance system reimburses you up to 75% of your medical costs. Not bad. Number 5, Olhão, Portugal. If Portugal were a dinner party, Lisbon would be the showy host, Porto would bring the wine, and Olhão would be the laid-back guest who quietly knows all the best recipes. Located in the Algarve region, I hope I pronounced that right, on the southern coast, Olhão is a working-class fishing town that's finally getting some well-deserved attention from savvy retirees. Life in Olhão is slow and soulful. The waterfront is dotted with traditional fishing boats, local seafood markets overflow with fresh octopus and sardines, and the town's famous whitewashed buildings are decorated in classic Portuguese tiles. It's not polished or pretentious, and that's exactly why people love it. You'll find fewer tourists here than in nearby Faro or Lagos, but the prices are lower. And the locals are friendly, and of course, the pace of life is gloriously chill. Retirees are starting to find this place, and it's not just for its charm, but also for its affordability. Rent is reasonable, meals are cheap, and Portugal's D7 retirement visa makes the move surprisingly simple. The healthcare system is excellent, whether you use the public healthcare system or you go private. If your ideal retirement involves fish markets at dawn, fresh air, and a town where no one rushes for anything, Olhão is where you go to trade stress for sun and sardines. If you're into sardines, not me. Not a big sardine fan. Not a big seafood fan. That's just me. So the rent here, a little more expensive than the other places here. It's about $1,000 for one bedroom in the city and about $837 for outside the city. Why it's great. Fresh seafood, slow pace, tiled streets, and Atlantic breezes. Visa, Portugal's D7, is a dream for retirees. Trust me on that one. I've read a lot about it. It changes occasionally. Read up on it. It's pretty easy. Healthcare, excellent and affordable. Even private plans are less than $100 a month. Not bad. Number 4, Kotor, Montenegro. Imagine a medieval town wrapped in fortress walls, wedged between towering mountains and a bay that looks like a fjord. That's Kotor. It's located on Montenegro's Adriatic Sea coast and has the kind of dramatic scenery that usually comes with a high price tag. Except here, it doesn't. Kotor is quiet, compact, and ridiculously photogenic. You can hike up to century-old castles before lunch, grab fresh seafood at a harbor restaurant, and spend the evening watching sailboats roll in. The cost of living is low, especially compared to nearby Croatia or Italy for that matter, and the town has a small but growing community of expats who appreciate its laid-back lifestyle. Montenegro isn't in the EU, but that just means it's got fewer rules and more affordable everything. Rent here, it's pretty low. In town, you can get one bedroom for about $686 a month. Outside, not much of a difference, about $656. Now, this is a cruise port, so you will see some cruise ships coming here. If you want to check out the city one of these days, take a cruise that takes you there and just kind of look around, see if it's your type of place. Or maybe just retire on the cruise ship. That's what a lot of people are doing these days. It's like my dream, but I'd miss my grandkid and my pig. Gotta stay landlocked. Anyway, why this place is great. A medieval town with fjord-like views on a budget. The visa. Temporary residency is available via property ownership or proof of income. So they always want to make sure you're making some money. They don't want you to come there and just drain off their system. So healthcare. They have affordable private care, which is decent. Public care is improving. Bring travel insurance at first. Okay? Just make sure you're covered. Number 3, Lucca, Italy. Lucca is tucked into the Tuscan hills just north of Pisa and about an hour from Florence. But unlike its flashier neighbors, Lucca hasn't let tourism go to its head. It's still a peaceful walled city filled with incredible pizza, Renaissance churches, and a flat medieval wall that they've turned into a biking trail that circles the entire old town. Yes, they literally turned a fortification into a fitness loop. Nike does the same thing at their campus. They have a running thing that's on a little levee. It looks like a levee, but around the whole campus. So you can just run on that. I don't know why they put it up like that, but it's up there. Living in Lucca feels like time travel with better espresso. The town is big enough to have excellent restaurants, markets, and cultural events, but small enough that you'll start recognizing your neighbors and their dogs within a month. The cost of living is reasonable for Tuscany, I should say, and the access to both public and private healthcare is excellent. Also, it's Italy. So, it's Italy. The food's going to be incredible. You get fresh pasta, ancient architecture, and the kind of sunsets that make you forget your U.S. property taxes. Now, if you want to move here and rent, it's a little bit higher, but what you're getting, it's well worth it. One bedroom in city center is only about $800. It's not terrible. Outside the city, about $657. Why is it great? Renaissance walls, Tuscan food, and a slower pace of life. The visa, Italy's elective residency visa, is made for retirees but requires a higher income. You got to have some money in the bank. Healthcare, once you're a resident, public healthcare is incredibly cheap. Some expats also get supplemental insurance. Keep that in mind. Always look at the insurance situation. I'm just breezing over it on these videos. Make sure you go in depth whenever you're going to move someplace like this, especially if you're a retiree. We all know you need a lot of healthcare as we get older, and you don't want to go there and I said it was decent, and then you find out there's some other things to it that you didn't know, and they don't cover this or they don't cover that, and you got to keep coming back to the States. Make sure you do all your research on that before you make any hard plans to move to someplace like this. Explanation. Good. Look at me go. Number 2, Lagos, Portugal. Located in the Algarve region of southern Portugal, Lagos is a coastal town with enough golden beaches, sea caves, and dramatic cliffs to fill your Instagram for years. While it's a hot spot in the summer, the rest of the year it's mellow, sunny, and laid back. Perfect for retirees looking to swap traffic jams for tidal pools, which is not a bad swap if you ask me. I'd go for that. I don't mind a good tide pool. Did have a guy throw a rock at me at a tide pool when I was growing up. I don't know what his problem was, but I think it was the fact he was carrying like a 12-pack of beer with him. Yeah, you meet some interesting people at the beach. I don't know about this beach, but in Southern California, they're interesting. But Lagos has a strong expat community, so English is widely spoken, and you'll find everything from British pubs to vegan cafes. The town is full of history, with Moorish walls, a 17th century fort, and cobblestone streets that somehow feel like they belong in both a postcard and a Netflix period drama. Best of all, your retirement budget actually stretches here, and the healthcare is excellent, even for a non-EU citizen. Now, this one's affordable. I'm not going to go over it. It shares a lot of the same things that the other Portugal city does, but their rent's a little bit higher. Rent here for one bedroom in city center is about $1,200 a month. Outside the city, barely drops to about $1,143 a month. So why is it great? Cliffs, beaches, and a strong expat community. The visa program, they've got a couple different ones, but Portugal's D7 is your golden ticket here. Healthcare, again, affordable, fast, and highly rated. Many doctors speak English. I love Portugal. One of my favorite countries in Europe. If you ever get a chance, go to Portugal. Take a cruise, visit some of the ports there, or go spend 2 weeks in Portugal. I don't know if it'll change your life, but it'll definitely make you start researching, should I move to Portugal? All right, before we get to number 1, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? It's free. You just hit the subscribe button, and it helps out the channel even more so if you leave a comment or a thumbs up for this video. Very much appreciated. Share the video. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Valletta, Malta. Valletta is the compact, sun-soaked capital of Malta, a Mediterranean island nation that somehow feels part Italian, part British, and part ancient world museum. With its honey-colored limestone buildings, balconies draped in flowers, and sea views from practically everywhere, Valletta is both elegant and lived in. It's the kind of place where history is baked into every single street, yet the atmosphere is anything but dusty. Think bustling cafes, ancient fortresses, and modern art galleries, all packed in a city you can cross on foot in 15 minutes. Not bad. Living here feels like you've accidentally wandered into a permanent vacation set. English is one of the official languages, which makes everything from grocery shopping to hospital visits refreshingly easy. The pace of life here is unhurried. I mean, it's almost like a bunch of Rastafarians shaved their dreadlocks and moved here. Shops still close for lunch, and people actually take time to enjoy their espresso. And while the architecture screams Game of Thrones filming location, which it was, their amenities are totally modern. Healthcare in Malta is ranked among the best in Europe, and retirees have access to both public and private systems that are far more affordable than in the US. I mean, far more affordable. Valletta offers a social lifestyle without an overwhelmingly sprawl of a big city. There are year-round festivals, rooftop concerts, coastal hiking paths, and enough restaurants to make every night out feel like a treat. Malta's retirement visa process is surprisingly straightforward, especially for Americans with a steady income or a pension. Yeah, again, they want to make sure you got some money. You know, this is how these countries look at it. In the United States, I mean, we probably should too, but they almost look at your new roommate. Are you going to rent out a room in your apartment or house to someone that doesn't have a job or doesn't make enough money to afford the rent? No, you're not going to. That's what these countries want to do. They want to make sure you can afford to move here and live here without draining their system. That's just my 2 cents. And while it's not the cheapest island in the Mediterranean, it's far more budget-friendly than Italy or France, especially when you factor in the sunshine to dollar ratio, which is important. Rent here, it's a little bit expensive. It's almost, United States money. Rent for one bedroom is about $1,200. Outside the city, you're looking at about $1,000. Why it's great. English-speaking island nation with endless sunshine and layered history. Visa. Malta retirement and permanent residence schemes are retiree-friendly. Pretty easy to do, from my understanding. Healthcare. Ranked in the top 5 in the world. Public and private care are affordable and accessible. Gotta love that. And of course, your sunshine to dollar ratio. I can't even get it together today. I think I'm gonna call that truck driving school. Valletta. Sounds like a car. Number 2, Legolas, Portugal. Look, number 2, I almost said it again. Jesus, it's not Lord of the Rings. Number 3, Lucca, Italy. My name is Lucca. I live on the 2nd floor. Okay. Number 3, Lucca, Italy. Number 5, oh, this is a rough one. Ole, Portugal. That one's rough. All right, here we go. Let's give it a shot. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Go out, have a great day. Be nice to each other.